Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today I have a very special guest joining us for the first time. We have...
Hi, Ben Kennedy here. Glad to be on your channel. I've been playing quite a lot of games fairly recently, and it's nice to jump on and do some commentary. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
No, that's brilliant. We're very glad to have you on board, Ben. Getting a lot of games in on TTS. You've actually been very kind and organised a little league for the guys from the Entoyment store, and a lot of games are going on. Some really interesting requirements, shall we say, for them. And this is actually one of the games from the league. From week 2, we have Dan on the left-hand side with the Rebels, and we have Rich with the Separatists. Before we talk a little bit more about the league, let's go through the lists. So, Ben, I believe you mentioned that you actually helped Dan with this list. So did you want to go through what we see on the Rebel side?
Yeah, so we have 2 Rogue Squadron escorts. So it's your E-Wings with R4 Astromech to really open up their dial and give them a lot of blue maneuvers. And proton torpedoes each, which works great with their target locks. They can acquire target locks beyond range 3. So getting those target locks up straight away. And then you've got the well-known Wedge Antilles hitting like a truck with servo foils and servo motor foils and proton torpedoes. Plenty of punch in that list.
Absolutely. I mean, we all know Wedge. He's, depending on which side of the board you're on, he's either an absolutely beloved pilot that everyone loves to see, or you absolutely hate coming up against him because he has a really good ace ability.
Yeah,
that is great when it works for you. And
he is a really you never want to see Wedge on the other side, because it always puts the fear of God in you, and that he's normally the first one that gets targeted.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Wedge and probably Fen Rao, they're your aces ace.
Yeah,
they are like top tier aces. I think Fen Rao might be just a bit above because his ability is ridiculous, but Wedge is right there with him, and I'm really excited to see his ability on an A-Wing. I think that's going to give them a few more teeth, to be honest. So, but opposite Dan, we actually have Rich with his Separatists. He's gone with 3 Fearsome Predators, all with the Intercept booster, all with a different munition. So we have the XX-23 S-Thread Tracers, cluster missiles, and ion missiles on those. So fast and nippy with some little bit of kick there. And in the Slave 1, we have Baby Bobber with just the proton bombs, because basically you probably couldn't fit any more else on him because he's actually quite expensive as it is.
Yeah.
So quite an interesting lineup there. 3 very nimble fighters on Rich's side, and some fairly nimble but quite solid ships on Dan's side there.
Yeah, I mean these E-Wings they've got a very good stat line. Pretty much 3s across the board.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the E-Wing. They
kind of went out for a bit, didn't they? I think they're seeing more play now than they used to do. The generic E-Wings are really good. And I think one of the reasons why they're seeing more play is because they're actually a counter to false transponder codes.
Yes.
Because you can just take that lock straight away on turn 1 and instantly shut off transponder codes, which, as we know, false transponder codes is You're seeing it on a lot of ships.
Yeah, it's quite a common upgrade actually that is seeing a lot of play, and it can be very sneaky. And yeah, the E-Wings do get around that by being able to get their lot
Yeah, it's
outside of range 3. So I never even thought about that. I mean, personally, I do love the E-Wings. I know that they were better in version 1.
Yeah.
They were it was those and the Defenders were two big meaty ships that either the Rebels or the Empire could have. And when it came to version 2, the Defenders seemed to get all of the love and the E-Wings not so much. But I still think they are a very solid ship. And as you said, sticking on the R4 Astromech, that gives them a very blue dial. So they are very maneuverable.
A completely different ship.
Yeah, it's definitely a setup I would go with R4 Astromech on them. It just makes sense.
Yeah. The only thing I found a bit weird when the E-Wings went to version 2, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they had a linked action, which is a boost target lock, which I find very odd as a linked action.
Yeah, I mean, especially they want to be further away to get the target lock.
Yeah, because it kind of counteracts because they can't take target locks at range 1.
Yeah.
Which I just find that a bit weird.
So, like, boosting in to get closer, potentially not get that target lock. If it was the other way around, if it was a linked target lock to boost, that would make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you there. It is a bit of an odd,
seems strange
combination, but again, they're quite meaty. They got the same amount of hit points as an X-wing, but instead of 4 hull, 2 shields, it's 3 hull, 3 shields. And I sometimes think that those shields are a lot better than more hull, because it's more protection against those crit damage. So it'd be interesting to see. And as I said, we've got some really nimble, fragile fighters on the other side in the Fearsome Predator. I mean, they've got quite a crazy dial with a lot of action capabilities in there. And they've all got their intercept booster, which I'm not going to lie, it's taken me a bit of time to get my head around it. A lot of the Separatist stuff, I think you kind of need to see it in play to really get how it works.
I've played the game using two of the interceptors with the booster, and I think kind of the idea is you can really get on a flank, so you can use your boosters to absolutely floor it down on one edge of the board, and flank your enemy and actually take them really by surprise by using those slam actions. So you've essentially got 3 turns where you can slam, and then after you use all your charges, then you lose the booster. However, every time you do that, you gain a disarm. But at any time you can just detach your boosters. If you feel like you're not going to get enough use. So I think it's a really good tool to try and get behind your opponent, because you can also link to get a target lock, I believe.
Yes, so it's a slam. You can
whiz behind your opponent, get your target locks, and essentially if you had imagine you had like Boba on one edge of the board, and then these 3 flying down the other edge of the board. That gives your opponent a really, really tough choice. Do I get flanked by these Predators, or do I turn my back to Boba?
Yeah, it is a really tough choice, especially those Predators. They've got a 3 red dice gun, which you don't want to ignore that. They've only got 3
pretty
health.
Good firepower.
Yeah, they've got good firepower. They're a classic interceptor. They've got that similar stat line to the TIE Interceptor in 3 hits, 3 agility, and 3 hull. And they have a fairly good dial. They've got the 1 Talon on there, which is just absolutely crazy and fits in with that style of ship being able to go really fast, really in a small space so quickly. But what I also like about these ones is that Fearful Prey condition card they've got. And they've got it attached to each ship. So after you defend against an enemy Fearsome Predator, if you do not spend at least 1 green token during the attack, gain 1 strain token. No, I think that just it's really good, especially when they're all at the same initiative, because you get one shoot. They don't spend a green token; it's strained for the next shot. So you've almost giving yourself a bit of a double tap moment there, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's got thread tracers as well. So if you can start the firing with yellow to get his target locks, give everyone target locks with his thread tracers, and then just a combination of fearful prey to get the strain, and then hit him with the missiles. Could be an interesting combination.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially if yellow does do that and red and green have actually got their calculates, it essentially gives them that double modded shot. So if you think yellow gets the first target lock, in the way that the E-Wings and Wedge are flying at the moment, if they get into a close enough range, green has got cluster missiles ready to really pounce on them being close together. It's a very nice combination they've got there. And then you've also got the ion missiles as well, just to really sort of salt the wound and either get that one final hit point you need or force that ship to be going one forward. Yeah. So it's a nice combination. And again, proton bombs on bomber, if they all work in combination, and we know what it's like, you have a well-laid plan and it goes to pot as soon as you actually get there. But that could be a very damaging combination there.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get a pretty violent initial engagement here.
Yeah, early shots are going to be fired, which is what we quite like to see. It's,
the thing with Dan's list there, however, he's got the potential to, in an ideal world, what he'd like to do is PS kill a Predator in one turn. So he's got the firepower to do that. So with the combination of Wedge, if he's able to get proton torpedoes, these Predators really don't want proton torpedoes because a crit going through with no shield.
Yeah, it's almost lights out for them straight away.
Yeah. So if Dan can delete a ship in a turn of shooting before it even gets to return fire, that will be a really good engagement.
Yeah, I mean that would be the absolute ideal there for Dan, is to delete a predator or potentially two is possible in a turn. That way, to try and save his ships to take on Bobber, because Bobber is, although he's only initiative 3 in this, a fire spray is a really dangerous prospect, having both the forward and back arc and the maneuverability that fire spray has. You want to get rid of those little pieces first if they're all together, and then in combination work that fire spray down.
And also the potential of deleting munitions before they get to fire.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the scariest munitions on the board on Rich's side, obviously we've said about thread tracers, they're good and allowing the target lock, which opens up some of the other munitions. But I think the two scariest ones, in my opinion, are the proton bombs and the cluster missiles.
Yeah.
Proton bombs are just scary.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be really careful with the proton bomb, however, just to make sure that his predators don't catch that. Because Dan's got quite a few shields on his side. Not got luck.
Yeah, those predators would be eating that crit straight away.
Yeah, so we have to be really careful with his use of bombs.
So it looks like we're going to get our first attack coming in. It is going to be from Wedge, and at that range, it is definitely a good old proton torpedo coming in.
Yep. Yeah, so, he's all focusing on yellow.
Yes.
Is it yellow?
Yeah, he's got the target lock on
green.
Yellow. I think you might be right. I think the target lock might be on green there. So we're talking green ship.
Green ship, yeah.
On the yellow base. They were having a few issues at setup, and for some reason it didn't spawn in enough tri-fighters, and we couldn't change the base, so we just coloured the ship green. Nice and simple.
This is a range 3 obstructed proton shot.
So obviously with wedge, normally losing one evade dice, but with the obstruction and the range, should be gaining one still. So it should be 4v4.
Did he spend the target lock there?
He hadn't actually rolled.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he just rolled his defense dice a little bit too early.
Yeah. And that is a perfect shot.
Wow.
3 hits and a crit.
So he's definitely taken a crit.
Well, it all depends on if they actually... I think they're counting that roll as golden, as actually having gone through. Yeah. So despite rolling a bit early. So we've got spending 1 calculate for an evade there. So we do have a hit crit coming through early. So this
spending his friend's calculate.
Yeah. This could be a ship off the board straight away.
So that's half points already.
That's
the power of wedge.
Yeah, and that crit is actually a blinded pilot. So not terrible.
No.
Not terrible. I mean, obviously now he can't spend that calculate to modify his attack.
I don't think red has got a shot on green, so
it's very close, but looks like we're going with yellow first.
Yeah, unobstructed.
Yeah. Now here's an interesting thought. So
you spend your torpedo.
Well, do you spend your torpedo?
Or 1 health.
Yeah. What I was actually thinking is, in that engagement, Rich used red's calculate on defense for green there. Now, would you have spent someone else's calculate, or would you have spent your own calculate if you're thinking, I'm going to be taking 2 damage there? Would it be better for me to use my own calculate so that if I do get taken off the board, there are still 2 calculates on the board?
Yes, that probably would make sense.
Because that was my... And in this case...
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, because essentially then you're then losing a calculate. Yeah.
So it looks like he's going to lose that calculate anyway. So that is another hit crit going into green. So that is bye-bye green. And is exactly what we said, the firepower to delete a predator in 1 round.
So this is a perfect
scenario. And that crit, by the way, was a disabled power regulator, but no ion tokens going onto green, as he's not going to get a chance to engage.
And he's still got 1 more E-wing to shoot.
Yeah. So he really sort of decided his order of shooting there for those E-wings quite nicely, because as he said, I'm not sure if red would have had him in arc, but it definitely made sense to get rid of green while the going was good there, and hopefully put in some damage onto most likely red, I would think.
And that is a cluster missiles out of the game.
Yeah, so again, that's a scary missile to come up against, especially if you are in a bit of a formation.
Yeah.
So now at this stage, I think going back to what we were saying about the calculates, you're now 1 calculate down. So obviously hindsight is 2020, but I think that it would have been better to save that, use green's own calculate there.
Some good attack dice coming in here.
Yeah, those rebels are firing hot.
Ooh, have to spend the calculator, I think, to avoid half points.
Yeah, so spending yellow's calculate there now. So I think, hindsight's 2020, but you've got to be careful. Just because you can use someone else's calculate, is it always the best option? But so far, a really good, strong first round of shooting there from Dan. So what can these Separatists do in return?
Yeah, so Dan just has to rely on his green dice here now.
Which for the E-Wings aren't too bad.
Especially range 3, so yeah, should be fine.
Yeah, so range 3, you'd be looking at 3 green dice for wedge, and if he was to shoot at the rogue squadrons, he'd be looking at 5 red dice for range 3 and obstructed, I believe.
Yeah. As you when you got proton torpedoes, obviously that's the best scenario that you could ask for you to be at range 3.
Yeah.
So you can fire your torpedoes without them getting the range bonus.
Yeah.
But when they go to return back, you get the range bonus. Which is the best engagement you can ask for.
Yeah.
It's trying to manage staying back at range 3.
I mean, as well with them, you've got to be careful. You don't want to get in too close either, because a lot of the missiles you can't. I mean, there's that fight that sort of like range 2 bubble is generally seen as quite good for all missiles, but once you get to range 1, some of them you can't use, or you're just a little bit too close at that point, unless you've got advanced proton torpedoes, which are ridiculous.
I think this is showing the power of the E-wings. Is that comfort factor of knowing you're going to get those target locks. So it's just making your life so much easier. You can just go in slow and get your focus, because a lot of the difficulty with torpedoes and stuff is just trying to get that lock.
Yeah. Ooh. And that's 2 hits going in on wedge. So it's 2 shields down. Yeah, I know what you mean. The E-wings are the epitome of that one forward to victory for rebels.
Yes.
So they can really use and abuse that quite well. It'd be quite interesting to see sort of 2 E-wings and 2 A-wings. So you could have the E-wings going slower and the A-wings getting right round the side. It'd be quite an interesting combination. Might have to get onto some list building with that.
Yeah. It's just a shame that Corran doesn't see any play. When I was playing version 1, Corran was one of my first ships I played with. He was really strong in version 1.
Yeah, he was really powerful, and he was a favourite of mine on the E-wing as well.
He was a really good.
And you saw him in a lot of high-level tournaments.
Yeah, the essential double tapping and then running away, regenerating your shields, coming back was pretty scary. I can see why they nerfed him a bit, but it's almost to the point that he's just too expensive, I think, now, and doesn't really see much play.
He is a very expensive ship, which is disappointing.
Ooh,
wow.
Natties.
Oh, that's just... After his red dice being so hot, that's almost disrespectful. That is brilliant. I mean, obviously the algorithm pulled out some nice dice for down there, so he's very happy with that. So, although he lost 2 shields on wedge, I think he's still come out very much on top from that first engagement.
Still a favourable return, yeah.
It's just going to be interesting now because they're going to be getting in real close now. So, how that's going to pan out. I mean, yellow does have his target lock still in there, so he's going to be, as long as he's a bit further back and can use his protons, he should be okay. But it's going to be an interesting one now.
Yeah, well, the Predators can get in there and mess up these E-wings, do some blocking, get in their way.
Yeah.
There's not many places to go with this triangle of asteroids. This limit movements. Yeah. Oh, double stress.
No, double strain actually from the first.
Okay, fearsome prey, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't actually have to use any green tokens, which was good and bad. It's one of those ones that's like, yay, I got naddies. Oh, now I'm strained.
But I'm still going to punish you for rolling great dice.
Yeah, I think that maybe the fearsome predators should be renamed the salty predators. I think that fits with that.
I am angry for you for rolling amazing dice.
Yeah,
I must punish you.
So what's going to be quite interesting? So let's have a bit of speculation now. So what would you be thinking with those E-wings right now? You've got a target lock on yellow with yellow.
Yeah.
You've got the double strain on red. They're right there in front of your face. What would you be contemplating?
So my concern would initially be the block. You always got to be careful of the block, them coming in. I would be inclined to. So he's gone in. He's deleted a predator. and cause some damage on the other one. I would probably look at trying to break off now and disengage, and then come back in to avoid being blocked in the middle.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean,
yeah.
One thing I'd be tempted by, and it would keep you still within the fight, but also breaking off a little bit. Because I mean, I almost anticipate those predators either just going straight forward, given the laning that they're in, or doing some sort of faster turn to get in on Wedge and focus on him. But you could be looking at either K-turns or the 3 sloops from those E-wings. So they still got their guns on target, but they hopefully might bypass any shots back at them. Would be an interesting option if you're willing to risk that gas cloud.
Yeah. I think Wedge has got to be a bit careful, because I think so there's potentially an option now of, do you go for, thinking all the other sides, do you go for the E-wings and try and block them up?
Yeah.
Or essentially he could turn all of those ships into Wedge.
Yeah.
And Wedge has not got many escape routes there.
He's fairly easy to block.
He could just ignore those E-wings, and just turn all guns on Wedge.
I mean, having played against Wedge a few times recently, I'd be very tempted just to get rid of him.
Yeah.
If you can get rid of him, it's good.
Yeah. Also, I mean, Wedge has already taken 2 shields, so he's down a shield. Bobber can get in quite close, and then potentially look at setting up a proton bomb now that the shields are gone on Wedge.
Yeah. So
I'd almost be inclined to leave the E-wings and try and because Wedge is a bit isolated at the back there.
Yeah.
He's also the most points, only by 1, but
yeah. I mean, this is one of those rarity lists where your out and out ace is only a little bit more expensive. Again, given how many points the Rogue Squadron escort actually is in general.
Yeah.
So
for example, the red one, they've got a boost, haven't they? The Predators.
The Predators, they do have a boost. They basically have access to most things.
He could have, for example, with the Reds, and he's stressed, he can go forward and then boost around to the right to get around that tiny little rock.
I mean, if he did a Wedge, if he did a 2 forward and then a boost, it'd be tight. Oh,
he's going for the block.
He's going for a block. So was that? It's hard to see. I think that was that a 4 forward? Do you reckon? Looks like a 4 forward. Can't actually see the dial there, and it's difficult. Obviously, when you see it in real life, you can see them put the template down.
And then he can go slow with the other ones. Try and.
Right. I think given what he's just done there, he's going fast with both. Yeah. He's trying to get right in their faces. Now, if Dan has done some form of turnaround maneuver, a K or a sloop, he'd be absolutely laughing right now.
Yeah, I think that gas cloud might hinder him though.
Yeah.
But this does allow Wedge to come in now.
Yeah.
And get on the side of the tri-fighters. Yep.
Yeah. So he's either got a really nice shot. He's got a really good shot though at Bobber there. He's got Bobber at range 1, and I think that tri-fighter is probably at range 2 from there. So would you say maybe target lock and proton torpedo that Predator away?
I mean, yeah, if you can try and get another Predator off. It depends what he's doing with his E-wings, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, again, also, he's got a really nice shot on Bobber there. But
I mean, the more Predators he can remove off the board, the more space he'll have to.
Oh yeah, he'll be able to
maneuver his ships around. Yeah,
he'll be able to chase Bobber down easier. Yeah. I mean, the Fire Spray is a very scary ship. undone that there by accident.
Oh yeah, so he's accidentally moved wedge first.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see
Okay,
that.
so yeah, going slow. So that's a good block by red,
Yeah.
and that might also block yellow.
No, yellow
Oh,
managed
yellow
to
gets out.
skip
Ooh,
over the top. Interesting that he didn't try and. So it looked like he was trying to avoid the gas cloud with red there.
yeah.
And I think that looks like he's probably, unfortunately, put red out of arc of yellow. So those E-Wings aren't going to be, unless that E-Wing does some form of boost right now, there's not going to be any shots coming from them this round, unfortunately.
Hmm.
That's a bit of that. I tell you what, if you'd have done that as a 3 sloop, that would have been brilliant because you'd have been right behind them, ready to cause some pain.
Bobber could have a rear shot here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to be careful of this. Bobber could chuck a bomb at the back. You don't want to be behind Bobber for too long.
No. I mean, luckily...
he loves people chasing him.
Yeah. Luckily, the E-Wings do have a fairly good dial to move fast and get away from that. He
should be able to avoid a bomb.
Yeah.
If you can see it coming. So if he could delete yellow with wedge before yellow gets that shot on the E-wing, so that's what I would probably try and aim for.
Yeah, I think
try and delete, or at least make him spend a calculate, but I think he spend his friend's calculate.
But I do think I completely agree. I think right now you kind of have to resign yourself to the fact that Bobber is going to shoot at you because you can't get rid of Bobber.
Yeah, I would leave Bobber and try and see if you can delete this yellow, and then if you can, then great, that E-wing is free.
Yeah, I would target lock that yellow, see if you can proton torpedo him, get him off. No shots into your red E-wing there, and then
it's tricky though because Bobber is at range 1 with a focus. Wedge has already lost 2 shields. It's a tricky call.
Yeah. But I do kind of think that your best option though is to try and save. Is to use Wedge, because even though Wedge has not got any shields, it would take an incredibly good series of crits to take Wedge out when he's on 4 health.
Yeah.
And it's only a 3 dice shot with 2 of those coming back at you, so that's range 1 on both. Let's
see what he goes for.
He's looking.
I think he's going for
Yeah, he is going for yellow.
Yeah, that's the right call.
I definitely concur with that.
He's only getting 2 defense dice. Yeah.
Well, he's pulled 3 out, so I think we're gonna.
Yeah.
There we go.
Noticed. Yeah.
So 4v2 with a focus is very good. 3 hits there.
Dice.
Yeah, that's good. So what does?
Oh, he needs paint.
It is
paint on any one of those. Oh, yeah.
2 paints. Spend reds calculate straight away. So just 1, but
half points.
Not quite half points. He's only taken 1. He hasn't taken any damage. It's red that's actually taken the damage.
Yeah, looking at the wrong one.
But I think that was definitely the right call there. Like, obviously, if he'd have managed to take yellow out, that would have been absolutely brilliant.
Well, Wedge has still got his focus, which could prove crucial.
Yes. Red, unfortunately, does have a strain token, so he is going to lose 1 dice and gain another strain token because there's no green dice for him. There's no green tokens for him to spend, so the strain token will disappear and reappear, unfortunately, for him. Big 4 dice hit, but only 1 calculate there to change it.
These ships pack a punch.
Yeah, but that's quite ideal. Those only 2 hits going in. Although they haven't seen this. They haven't seen that there's the strain there.
Oh yes, he should be rolling one less.
Should be rolling one less because you only removed one strain from doing that blue, but he's got another strain in there. So we'll see. But there's one shield down there, so it's a bit of a shame. That was a really nice shot for yellow that didn't quite come off as well as you'd like. Oh, and just clipping wedge there.
Yeah, I think you go for wedge.
Yeah. Range one shot on wedge.
Call. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Would have hoped for a better result, but
yeah, these dice are decidedly average for Rich, unfortunately. Oh, but he still gets one through, so
half point.
Yep, half points. And with wedge, that's a lot of points to get half on.
Wedge is in a bit of a tricky spot with that asteroid in front of him.
Yeah. Now, I think one thing we definitely know is going to happen here is that Bobber will be dropping a bomb.
Well, that would cut off Wedge's. So if Wedge decided to go left around the asteroid, that would cut that route off.
Yeah, absolutely. He's either got to completely turn away from the fight and hope to not get bumped into one of those tri-fighters, or even if he did get bumped into yellow, he'd still have a good shot on red. But I think he's got to be aware of that bomb, and I think you've got to turn away now. You've got to turn away, regroup, and come back in. You've put some hurt on everyone but Bobber, so get out, come back in for another run, I think is the best option. Re-engage those target locks from the E-Wings.
Yeah, definitely. Get out of the middle, get your target locks back, swing range for another proton run. I think the close engagements definitely favour the Separatists here with the blocking abilities.
Yeah.
And the maneuverability of those Predators.
I mean, even for the Predators now and Bobber, he's able to just sort of stick there in the fight. Like with those Predators, you could even disengage with those now, and you could see a disengagement from both sides and then come back in. I mean, I
think you might see a K-turn from yellow. I can't remember if they have K-turns as sloops. They have that one, don't they?
Yeah, so the Predators have the 1 Talon, but they also have the 3 and 5 K-turns. So they've got a very good set of turnaround maneuvers.
I think a 3 Talon or a 5 K-turn with yellow would be good, because especially as Wedge is he's in a tricky spot.
Yeah,
I think any turnaround attempt from Wedge that little tiny asteroid would cause all problems.
It's just far enough ahead that I think. I mean, if he was to do a too hard, it would avoid it. But it all depends on where Rich has his ships at the time. It's going to be causing a bit of trouble. And obviously, just waiting on it to come back. Unfortunately, TTS was being incredibly difficult, and Dan's just having to reset his dials there. So that's one of the disadvantages of TTS versus, say, doing it in real life. The worst you'll probably get is maybe your dial falling on the floor and rolling under the table.
So while they're messing around with them, it might be a good idea to discuss the new stuff.
Oof.
What are you looking forward to the most? What are you going to get first?
Well, I've already got my pre-order in. I was lucky in that. I've gone with Empire and Rebellion. Empire being the faction that I started with way back in the day. And as soon as I saw it was Sky Strike with a TIE Defender and 2 Interceptors, like, I'm definitely buying that. And then they turned around and told me I was getting Vader and a Defender.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm willing to spend at least half the points in my list just on a base Vader and a defender.
So I'm betting 95 points for Vader.
I kind of want him to be 99 just so I can call him Darth Whippy. But I think he'll be somewhere between 95 and possibly 100 points because I think a defender with 3 force, even though he's limited on what he can use his force on, is still going to be crazy. Because if he's got his full throttle ability, he does a 3-speed maneuver, he gets his evade, and he takes a target lock or a focus, and then he's got the force for that crazy ability of turning blanks into, I believe it was either hits or focus. I believe it was hits. So, and it doesn't seem to be limited either. So you're pretty much going, well, I can't miss. I can't miss. It's great.
And it just allows him to be more aggressive because he can save all his other tokens for defense.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm really excited about that.
I like the route they've gone with his ability.
It's different from what he had before. And I think if the defender had the ability had his original ability, it would still be really powerful because they've got a really good spread of actions. But I don't think it would be quite as cool and interesting.
No, I think that's definitely more thematic. And I think it's very important that they did that because if they had just given Vader in a defender with force and he was able to use that force for whatever, I think that could be borderline broken. So the fact that they've limited that, I think, balances that out quite nicely.
Yeah, I think I know there's a lot of people that are a bit iffy about it, but I think they've reached quite a nice balance there of it's very attack orientated. Yes, he's got those things that can help him in the defense, but it's not like he's fully force and just goes, whatever, I could just evade or hit anything. But even regardless of Vader in the pack, I think there's some really cool things in there in the interceptor pilots. Gideon Haskell, an interceptor, I think he's almost doing what Wedge does in the A-Wing of just making an interceptor even scarier. I really like Sienna Ree's ability. I know it's a negative ace ability and some people might be against that, but I think it's going to make her cheaper. So it's going to give you an I6 for a cheaper premium. And then you've got Nash Windrider in there as well, which I think is a great little swarm buddy ability.
Yeah, I think they're really pushing for the swarm, the Empire swarm.
Back how it used to be.
Yeah. So we've got the bomb.
We do have the bomb, the kind of expected bomb.
Yeah.
So that's good. I mean, while they're doing their moves, have you got a pre-order in? What are you excited about?
So no pre-orders, which is unusual for me.
Indeed.
This is our whiteout.
This is the whiteout where TTS decides to go a bit weird.
However,
it will come back.
I will definitely be getting the packs. Knowing me, I'll probably end up getting all 3. I do like to collect my ships.
You're a bit of a completionist like I am.
Yeah,
so.
I like to play all factions. I'm primarily Scum, but I like to play all.
Which pack do you think provides the most air quotes value at the moment?
I would probably lean towards the Rebels. I think it gives them a bit more. I think it gives them some aces. Rebels generally tend not to be too heavy with aces.
Yeah.
Changing A-Wings, the way they're giving you the options, the way A-Wings could work.
Yeah.
However, how much use we'll get out of that, I'm not sure. I think the vectored cannons will be more beneficial on the lower initiative A-Wings as opposed to the higher ones.
Yeah.
Just by the nature of it works. I think someone like Jake probably wouldn't benefit from the cannons. And yeah, I think they've got some really interesting. I mean, I'm sure everyone's itching to try the wedge A-wing. That looks so fun.
Yes.
And Hera.
And also Ahsoka in the A-Wing with
yeah.
3 Force. It's another Force user.
I think they've done really well with the Rebel pack, and it would be nice to see because a lot of people have given the Rebels this classic one forward to victory. Rebels tend to stay in a block; they just go one forwards, and you got this Rebel jank. But maybe they're trying to get away from that, and have these A-wings that are allowed now to zip around and fire at their rear and stuff. I think they could really open up the Rebel gameplay a lot. So I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. And I think, although we were saying about all the factions have that sort of identity to them.
Yeah.
So Rebels are sort of, we joke, one forward to victory, they stick together. But it's allowing them to sort of spread their wings a little bit and do other things. But again, their abilities are still very much in keeping with that Rebel aesthetic. So it's not like they're losing their identity of being rebels. It
just allows them to do a few more different tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the pack, and I like the fact that they're including that Y-wing ability in the pack. I think that's a really cool ability for the Y-wings. The Tefon belly run, I think was called.
Belly run, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool that they've got that in the Fugitives pack and the Phoenix Cell pack, because I haven't got the pre-order for Fugitives, so it means I still get a copy of that card. And I think as well, all of the paint jobs and all of those new models are amazing. I think my favourite paint jobs, in fact, I think my favourite paint job out of all of them is probably the Hawk.
Yes,
I think it looks really great in that black
I really like the Hawk model just in general. Yeah. And that black paint job, I think, looks great.
With that really luminous green accenting on the top fins, it just looks really cool. And again, like you, I will get it eventually, but I'm looking forward to that one. Not as much as Bob was looking forward to that bomb going off right under yellow there.
What bomb? I can't see a bomb. Let's hide it.
Yeah, if you hide the bomb, it can't go off.
Yes, let's smother it.
Yeah. Nim's here somewhere. Nim's here. He can stop the bomb going off.
Yeah.
That looks like Red's going to get it as well.
Still got Wedge. It's interesting to see where Wedge is going to go.
Now, if Wedge has turned away...
Wedge has struggled to turn to the right.
Yeah, because he's got a good block there from Yellow Fierce and Predator as well. And also, he's got some good turnarounds in there. Oh, checking for a nice target lock there from Red. Exactly at the range he wants that to be. So
will that proton bomb hit Red as well? That is close.
I think yes. I think at the moment that proton bomb looks like about the kind... It looks a similar distance from that asteroid as it does to... That's disappointing.
I mean, that's a tricky... To be honest, he might prefer that as opposed to getting that bomb, but...
I'm not quite sure he prefers it right now.
I mean, he sat at range 1 of...
I don't think... Unfortunately, I don't think Wedge is going to be long for this world.
I mean, yeah, he had pretty much a difficult either way he was going.
Yeah, I think if he'd have gone a bit faster, maybe a 2 or a 3, although he would have still clipped it, he could have probably passed. And although we can't see the full bubble there, we can see the lines lining up. So that is hits on all 3 Rebels and on none of the Separatists. That is
Boba
the most ideal
smiling
bomb.
Inside his cockpit watching the destruction.
Yeah.
That is a great bomb.
So that's a shield from Red, a shield from Yellow, and a stunned pilot on Wedge. It's a good job he got that when he did, and not before. And also, it's a good job if he survives the shooting. His positioning is that he is essentially off the rock now, so it won't trigger when he moves next, but we'll see if he actually makes it past, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, if he survives this, then Wedge is in a position where he could just disengage now.
Yeah.
Just get out of the fight, let these E-Wings take over.
I mean, if Wedge survives this, I would just be like, moral victory to Wedge. Wedge is the winner. But we've got a proton torpedo coming in from Red on Bobber at the ideal proton torpedo range.
Yeah, Bobber's not no mods. Oh,
and so we've got hit crit, and there's another dice just snuck off the board that we can't quite see. Will he spend the target lock? Oh, triple crit.
Oh no, he forgot his target lock.
Oh no, I mean, still 3 shields there, but that could have been 4 shields. I mean, maybe it was a tactical play to save that target lock for when he gets a bit closer. You never know. Could be big brain play there.
Yep. I mean, if you got 3 hits, it could be worth saving it because you know that if you get into range 1, you're not going to be able to get that target lock back. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we've still got 1 hit there from Yellow. I'm pretty sure we've still got a charge on Red's proton torpedoes, so if he goes slow, he might get a second chance at that.
Oh, a blank.
Oh, and he snuck that damage in as well.
That's actually some good damage there.
Yeah, good shooting from the E-Wings there.
E-Wings are doing some work.
Yeah, they're really sort of like waving their banner and saying, "Don't forget about us, guys. We are still here." I know we don't have like cool bits that move on our ships, and we're quite expensive.
Wedge has been a team player.
Yeah.
Take him on for the team to allow these E-Wings to do their work.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Is it just 1 he's taking for the team? No, that's 2 for the team, and that's a dead
1
wedge.
guarantees it. Yeah, that guarantees it.
So yeah, spend that calculate. Guarantee taking Wedge off. Yeah. F's in the chat for Wedge, guys.
For Wedge.
It was an unfortunate move there. I think still being in range of that proton bomb was just, I think, quite painful, really. I mean, potentially he's cleared a lot of direct hits out from there, though. For taking all those cards.
Yeah.
But it's definitely swinging it a little bit more back towards Rich, but it's not over yet. Still not over. Those predators can pop quickly.
Yeah.
And we've got a range. I'm going to assume it's a range 2 into.
Still has a proton torpedo or 2 left.
Ooh. So that's 2 more into yellow. So that's half points on yellow. And a flying shield there. So that is the points have turned very rapidly there. But it's going to be interesting. I think those E-Wings, they could still get in there and do some damage to those predators. Bobber's going to take a bit of time now he can either just go straight in and try and block, or he's going to take a bit of time to turn around. So, I mean, what do you think? Continuing on the predators, or now focus on Bobber that you've got his shields down?
Well, I mean, Red has still got a proton torpedo, right?
Yeah.
Correct. So Bobber's stressed, so Bobber's not going to be going that fast.
No, so I mean, if he wants to get rid of the stress, he's got the 1, 2, 3 forward or the 1 bank. So
yeah, I mean, Red could come in slow and get another proton torpedo off on Bobber.
Yeah, I think that'd be, if you did say if yellow moves first, Red does a 1 bank. You see where Bobber is, and if needs be, you can always barrel roll backwards to get away from Bobber to line up that proton. But I think now might be you've got a good opportunity to try and really hammer in on Bobber.
Yeah, I think yellow. So yellow at the E-wing at a bit of a difficult spot. I would try and disengage with yellow.
You could go risky and do a K-turn with yellow. In fact, do the E-wings have a K-turn?
Red could block that. They have a sloop.
Oh, they do have a 4K turn as well, and a 4K turn. So, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, you got to try and think, what's red? The red and yellow predators are both stressed. So to get rid of that stress, they're going to have to do a 2-speed maneuver at the slowest. So it's
the only thing is, you'd have to be a bit. I mean, you could do the K turn. However, that would put him behind Bobber, which was where Bobber would be like. Here's another proton.
Yeah, but if Bob, I don't think Bob would drop a proton now.
However, he could be a danger bombing his own ships.
Yeah, I mean, even if the E-wing was behind Bobber now and he dropped a bomb, I think Dan might be a bit more wary of that and definitely go a bit faster. Ooh.
I think with yellow, I'd almost be inclined with yellow E-wing. I'd almost be inclined to do like a 5 forward, and then possibly a boost just to get out there and just avoid any blocks.
Yeah.
Just fly straight past those predators, disengage, get your target locks, come back in.
Oh, that's an interesting one there from yellow. Now I'll tell you what.
You grab a free target lock.
Yeah, depending on what red does, I think that would be a perfect depending on what red predator does, it almost would have been really good if yellow had done that K-turn, because he's still got that target lock on that predator. Yeah. So he could potentially throw it that way and get rid of the predator, or even if he's turned in.
Oh, now a K-turn would be a great maneuver.
That K-turn would have been absolutely perfect.
Has he done it? That'd be great.
That would be just insane.
It's a risky call, but wow, would it pay off? He has done
and
it.
It's a 4K10. Yes. I am incredibly happy with that. Great maneuver. He doesn't have yellow, but now he has a free shot at either Bobber or that red predator.
And he can avoid a potential bomb next turn because he's got all sorts of options. He can 5 forward to turn away. That's a great maneuver.
I think even now, would you be worried about doing a proton? I think you want to try and barrel roll away just to be out of that range one of the predator.
If I would, so in this instance, I would see if I can PS kill that predator, which would protect
red
a bit, which you'd only get the one shot from Bobber. So
would you try and PS kill the predator, or would you try and dual PS kill Bobber?
Oh yeah,
you've got 2 range ones with a target lock for red. So you could, I'd potentially be saying, right, target lock focus on red.
Yeah, true. I mean, I forgot he's still got his target lock, so essentially you can double mod.
Yeah, or do you barrel roll away to try and be out of range 1 of the fearsome predator, and then target lock shot onto Bobber, maybe barrel roll backwards to get into, see if you can sneak into range 2. Yeah,
it's a difficult one.
There's a lot going on there.
They don't have a barrel roll. Do they have a barrel roll focus?
It's barrel roll target lock.
See. Barrel roll focus would be so much better.
Well, maybe there's a config card for it. Change that link action to focus.
I would be inclined just to stay there and take a focus. Barrel rolling away would get you away from one range, one shot, but it would leave you without any tokens.
Oh, he's doing the barrel roll. Oh, he's doing a double barrel roll.
That's a double barrel roll. That's it.
Hold on. He's not like super decloaking there. I think he is seeing. He is seeing if he can get range 2. I mean, if he doesn't get range 2, he's still. Oh, looks like he's trying
So
to.
now you won't be able to do that target lock.
No, I mean he's already got the target lock.
I think he's realised. Yeah, he's realised.
Yeah.
He's realised. That's cool.
But I mean, it's a good thing. He doesn't stress himself now.
Yeah.
So even if
he's avoided the range one from.
Yeah. So I think that's good.
Yeah.
If he's outside of range one of Bobber right now, that's amazing. Because he can do a proton torpedo and almost guarantee a crit. If he is in range one, then he still gets a 4-dice shot.
Luckily, he's not going up against Scumbobber.
Yeah.
Scumbobber would love this scenario right now.
Yeah. So who is that from?
And
Is that from red or yellow? And who is it to? They haven't tabbed it out. See how many dice come out? Okay, so that's Fearsome Predator red.
I'm guessing it's from the yellow because otherwise he would have used a target lock.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame.
Ooh,
definitely going to use that calculator.
Saying not today.
And now we're going to have red, range 1. So, and luckily Bobber's ability won't actually be able to trigger either because he's too close to his companions.
That's a good shot.
Oh,
Still got the target lock.
Still got the target lock. He's still got it.
I think he might have, just missed it.
Yeah. Oh,
we got some damage through there.
Is he going to spend the focus for only 2, or is he going to take all 3?
He might choose violence here.
Yeah, I think he kind of have to. Yeah, it looks like he's choosing violence there. So
yeah, I mean, taking 1 and keeping the focus, probably a good shout.
Yeah, he's chosen violence and taken the 3. Although it doesn't look to have been updated on the overlay correctly, so...
Well, he got some points back now. He's close.
Yeah.
99.
I mean, it's a shame that he couldn't take one of them out, because that's now two shots into... And is he forgetting the strain again? Or no, he doesn't have the strain anymore, does he, actually? Sorry. That's the Fearsome Predator condition token.
So the strain will happen now because he's got...
No green mods.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's not a great roll there. And that is... I can't quite see what's actually hidden down the bottom there. It's rolled off the board, but that's definitely...
I think that's
definitely 2. So that's definitely hit crit. Oh, yeah, that's a blank.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, it's not. It's just hit crit. But that crit is still going to be enough because it's direct hit. Oh, that was absolutely...
No, that was a really unfortunate.
Yeah. So what looked like a really amazing setup for Dan there is kind of backfired a bit.
Well, it's the unlucky dice, and then there's nothing worse than seeing a direct hit.
Yeah.
On your last card.
I mean, those dice are sort of... They're evening out for Dan a bit now there, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, down to a lone E-wing.
Yeah. I mean, it's far from over.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that E-wing can still do work. He could PS kill.
Yeah.
All the richer ships are hurting.
Yes. So there's a lot of damage has been spread around there. So 14 minutes, that E-wing has the potential to, if he can line the shots up right, take out a Predator a turn. He's got 2 proton torpedoes left in the tubes. He has a target lock on. So he's just got to play it really, really carefully now.
With Bobber, what I'd be tempted to do now with Bobber is to bank the left, to line up, face your rear towards the E-wing.
Yeah.
To then put that bomb threat out there for the next turn.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You basically want to say, hey, look, I could chuck a bomb out, and that really makes you think and really limits your opponent. And think, even just the threat of a bomb, even if you're not going to put it out there, can seriously swing and put your opponent off certain maneuvers.
Yeah, I mean, the game we had the other day that will be going up on the channel eventually, because I'm not gonna lie,
savage game.
That was savage. It was brilliant, but the threat of the bombs that some of your ships had on there really, it really led into how I was going to play.
Thing. The bombs.
And I mean, especially now, I think people are getting a lot more comfortable with using bombs. They're not necessarily thinking, right, I need to use my bombs to get damage in. They're always going, bombs don't need to cause damage.
No, they just deny an area.
Yeah. I mean, you can place a bomb and go, right, you can go that way and you're going to get damage, or I can use it as a funneling method and put you in a kill box instead. So you kind of got two options there.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about bombs.
I've spent many a game because my go-to guy is Fen Rao. By far my favourite pilot. And I spent many a game facing up against an opponent that had bombs. And just flying against bombs completely changes the way you have to fly. Especially with someone like Fen. And it's just the threat of those bombs on the list really changes how you have to fly.
I mean, I think there's a lot of ships that you do, except maybe some of the larger base ships that have got a lot more health. A lot of these ships, you are very wary of those bombs and what they can do. They've all got such varying abilities that can just be minor inconveniences or just outright brutal. I mean, I think for me, one of the ones I'm a particular fan of is the seismic charges, because it can really just hit anywhere.
It's a lot of area,
yeah. I mean, you just look at this setup for these obstacles, and a seismic charge in between the two gas clouds and the asteroids, you could potentially be catching any of those three, which means you're expanding your area of opportunity there immensely.
So this is a good play. So similar to what I was saying, but he's gone for the hard bank. So just turning your rear completely towards the E-wing.
Yeah.
And basically saying, well, I either do or I don't, but there's a threat of a bomb.
Yeah. You've got the threat of the bomb. And not only that, he's really opened that arc up. So that E-wing has got to go hard to ship left to avoid that, but then you've got yellow coming around covering that angle.
The good mini kill box there.
Yeah, very, very well done. And now if the E-wing has gone forward, that's three guns. So
yeah,
and
forwards. Yeah,
looks like a one forward.
However, they're saying red's got no tokens, so you can use to calculate from.
Yeah. Oh, it's the one bank. Oh, okay. So gets himself out of yellow there. Is he out? I think. Would you say he's outside of range one there? Could he potentially proton torp yellow just to get rid of him?
I don't. Oh, that's close. I don't think it would be range one. It's very close.
I think right now, focus is the best option.
I don't know if yellow's got a shot, so I don't know if he would go and try and kill red.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was looking at. Yellow doesn't.
If yellow hasn't got a shot on him, then I would try and kill red.
Yeah.
If he decides to stay there, he might decide to move.
I mean, just doing
he does have that asteroid.
Oh,
yeah, I think he meant to go the other way. Yeah, the drama is he could have stayed there, but I think he's right in what he did there because
he's getting himself out of the range.
His next turn, that tiny little rock is causing so much issues.
Yeah.
And I think now he's got a clear, so he could essentially just go 5 forward now, and the next turn.
I mean, it does limit that he's only got the shot on yellow, but given that he's got a proton torpedo, I don't think he's overly bothered.
No.
Having the two shots coming back at him, though, is gonna be a bit scarier. And
that's
there we go.
Good.
For me, I would spend that target lock.
Ooh.
Oh, again, another missed opportunity there on the target lock. It's going to use that calculator, and then that's what we.
What's going on here?
Oh, he is using the target lock,
and he could change it. He could change one into a crit.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going back a step.
Yeah. So re-rolling. There we go. Ooh, okay. So that's. Change that into a crit. So that's 2 crits. And that is going to be yellowed down, although it doesn't look like he's actually doing the second crit. But that crit was a fuel leak. So not necessary at this point. I mean, he's dead. Don't need to really rub it in, but that's what would have been nice to have seen a little bit earlier on for Dan, but that was a good solid shot.
Hope he survives these.
Yeah. I mean, he's got himself out of range 1 of the Red Predator and Bobber, which I think is probably the more important thing. He doesn't have any mods, though, to protect himself there, so...
If he can survive this, he's in a good position to just disengage next turn and get some space.
I think he'd even just K-turn next turn, because I think looking at Red Stressed...
That is a good possibility.
Yeah.
Or even a 3 sloop to the right.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Got himself to range 3 there. Yeah,
K-turn probably the better one.
Yeah, because...
See if he survives this.
Yeah, Red with that stress, he obviously can't lose that going left because of the rock.
Ow. That is cruel.
Oh, that's sort of saying...
Oh, Bobber, you evil, evil man.
Oh, and that is a crit going through. It's not a bad roll.
A good roll, yeah.
Yeah, it is still a crit going through.
That could have been painful.
Let's see what said crit is.
Bobber is saying, I don't need any modifications.
Mod what? Yeah. That is a loose stabilizer.
Who needs mods? I don't need mods.
Loose stabilizer, that's not a great one.
No.
Now here's the question. Does a K-turn count as a straight maneuver, even though you're doing the turnaround?
I don't believe it does.
So he's now got to go straight, and there is another crit, and that's...
Surely this is not going to be double damage.
No, it's a fuel leak. No. So not a direct hit. Not another direct hit taking someone out.
Okay, so fuel leak is irrelevant. However, yeah, that's really going to stop his turnaround now.
Yeah, however, the loose stabilizer is very relevant.
So I would just go back to the... Initially, yes, K-turn, but with that crit now, I'd probably just do a 5 forwards. Which is... In fact, is he stressed?
No, he's strained.
Strained, okay.
So maybe a 4 forward.
Yeah, I would just go forward as fast as you can. Try and repair. Just disengage. Get your target locks back. In fact, he's still got target lock on.
No, target lock is gone now because that target lock is hanging around from the red E-wing.
Yeah, make the most of the fact that the Predator won't be able to chase for a little while. Bobber, again, will have to turn around. So, good opportunity to disengage.
Yeah. I think one of the things that makes it so hard, though, and so getting a loose stabilizer at that point quite distressing, is that there is just over 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
So you've got to hope to get those 2 rounds in quickly. I mean, if...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he needs points.
Looking at it now, unless he could somehow manage to squeak in 2 rounds of shooting, there's...
I think, so he would need to kill Bobber.
He would need to kill Bobber
Both.
and
didn't he?
half Fearsome
Oh, yeah.
Predator to get the win. If he took out Fearsome Predator, that would only put him on to 162, which would make it so close.
Super close.
I mean, the thing is, when I think Dan's done really well so far, it's just when Rich has had those shots, he's really been able to capitalise on them. Like he's made his shots count, and I'm not saying that Dan hasn't at all either. Dan has done really well. He's had some phenomenal shooting. I mean, those early bits of damage on Bobber caused a lot of hurt.
Initial engagement was.
It all started to go to plan quite well.
I think, I think that bomb may have swung it a little bit. And it was just really. I think it was a bit unfortunate the red E-wing went down the way it did.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things. Brutal. You get the bad dice coupled with direct hit.
Yeah, direct hit is it's a nasty one. And to be honest, that's probably why they put 5 of them in the damage deck.
Yeah.
And 4 fuel leaks as well. Although I always find fuel leak comes when you've got 1 health left anyway, so it almost doesn't matter.
Well, I played a game against Fraser that had a decimator with 12 health, and his first crit when he had full 12 health was a hull breach.
Oh no!
It's the fastest I've ever seen a decimator go down. It was just crit triggering fuel leaks, and it was so unfortunate. The decimator just dropped so quick.
I mean, those sorts of shifts, decimators and ghosts, their agility obviously 0 or 1 at most. You can see them go down really quickly, but when you get something like that, that just doesn't help at all.
So this is a good move by Bobber. Yeah. Really threatening that. It's like, okay, if you're going to blast forwards, I'm going to cut off this space.
So it looks like Dan is actually he's actually got that K-turn dialed in. So I'm now interested to see if that is actually...
I believe it doesn't count as a straight maneuver.
I'm going to have a quick look. To the rules reference... So let's have a quick look.
I think it's something a lot of people do get a bit confused with.
It doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyway, we mentioned earlier about this obviously being a league game. So, as we said, there's a couple of different scenarios that are thrown in to make things a bit interesting. For this week, the scenario was to ensure that all of your ships had some form of munitions, which I really like the idea of that. Because it just means you get an extra sort of flavour to it, and showing how things can pan out differently.
Yeah. So when I first thought about the league, the sort of idea behind doing the themes was to allow people to fly different stuff. So you almost have to try different stuff, and it really gets you like trying different stuff that you wouldn't normally do, and not always using the same list. And so every time you face an opponent, it's always in a different build and stuff.
Yeah, which I think sometimes if you do a tournament, you could end up always flying the same thing for a couple of games.
Yeah,
and it kind of limits it a bit.
Yeah, especially if you're playing like 5 or 6 games and you're sort of playing the same list. Sometimes it's nice to have a bit of variation.
Yeah, and from what we've seen so far on quite a few of the games, there have been some really interesting variations. I mean, week 1 was every ship must be different. Week 2 was munitions heavy. Week 3 was 2 ship builds.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
So probably some double defenders in there, but you never know, some double decimators, some double falcons potentially. And then week 4, I believe, is
generics.
Generics only, so no name pilots. And then the final week is each list must include a large base ship, which I did find quite interesting. In that meant that this week will not have Republic because they're the only faction that do not have a large base ship.
Yeah, so yeah, they need to get a large ship.
Yeah, come on, AMG. We want the Naboo cruiser. It's probably the most obvious option there.
As well as a Razor Crest. Razor Crest. I mean, squeeze that in as well.
Please, like, pray to the Force or the Sith or whoever. Please tell us when we're getting the Razor Crest. We all want to know. You know that we have money burning in our pockets waiting to spend on that. And that will probably be one of the highest pre-ordered ships so far that has been released for this game, I think. I think it's the most hotly anticipated.
Yes, so they need to get extra orders of that in because there will be a lot of people demanding that ship.
Absolutely. But anyway, in the game, it looks like that is that. So a very interesting game there. A lot of high violence when we got it. So very well played there by Rich. And again, I still say very well played there by Dan. Really good job of getting the damage that he did in there.
Yeah, they're very good play on both.
Yeah,
both sides. Interesting to see the E-Wings up against the Predators.
Yeah, I think they really held their own there. They looked fragile towards the end, but that's a bit of a myth. Don't worry, they just had some unfortunate rolls there, but they did really well, and it was nice to see the E-Wings. So thank you, Dan, and thank you, Ben, for helping Dan with writing that list and seeing those E-Wings on the board. It was really nice. But I think what we'll do is we're going to call it there. So Ben, thank you very much for joining us in commentating this game. It's been brilliant to get your insights into what's been happening and other bits around the X-Wing world.
No worries. Yeah, happy to commentate. It's just as enjoyable watching it as playing it.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back on the channel again as a player and also as a commentator. So again, thank you very much. Right, so what I will do is, guys, obviously we're going to call it there, but I just want to say thank you very much for watching. As always, do please click that like button and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.